Thank you very much. It's an honor and privilege to be part of this Smart Meter Summit in Delhi and meeting all of you prominent experts in this industry. And of course, thank you Aayera for the organization and the host. Thank you very much. My name is Johan Ekblom, Sales Manager at isMobile, and I will just briefly introduce you to isMobile company, and afterwards I will hand over to Richard, who will give the experience of running these kind of smart meter rollout projects in Europe. Based on isMobile platform, which is the foundation of workforce engagement, we are supporting case and field service management since 25 years in Europe. We have built a package on top of our platform supporting these kind of projects, running rollout projects, massive, huge projects all over Europe. We have a predefined process and workflow templates, and of course this solution is flexible. We can adjust, and you can adjust, and to customize the solution to your own processes. This is crucial, we know that, and that is why we have a very flexible solution. But I would say, and I will stress out, that it's based on a pre-package, and Richard will propose and describe this process for you in detail later. Of course, this is not a work done by one party. Usually in our projects, we are collaborating with partners like Rierstam, Society, Tech Mahindra, and such. This is also, of course, crucial for the success of these kind of projects. We are focusing on field service management and to have a very smooth process support for these kind of projects. This is a very brief overview of our company. We will be here for 2 days, and tomorrow we will also have a speech. But please, Richard, move into the experience and the know-how from these kind of projects in the past.
Oh, great, thank you. I really want to move a bit. I have the opportunity. You have to sit and wait until lunch. Sorry for that. My name is Rierstam. I'm a product manager and also a solution architect at isMobile in Sweden and Europe. I have been involved in a number of these rollout projects where I have the beneficial of actually being part of the whole process. You have a really deep challenge here of deploying 250 million smart meters in India. 6 million you have already achieved to install. And there were some calculations there that boils down to approximately 7 million meters per month, 230,000 per day. And of course, that's divided into a number of divisions. The challenge here, of course, is the volumes, the high volumes, and how to manage and control and collaborate between all these areas and teams that should do the deployments. What you need in this, as we can see in Europe, is something that maybe comes in late in the chain for planning. That is the planning tool, or the tool to help you navigate this map to be able to achieve successful deployments. And of course, I'm coming from the software vendor side, so this is my area. So I think you have a lot of other challenges, of course, but this is the one I can speak about. Okay. All right. So just looking at some of the mission and the considerations, just to give a ball grid of what we are handing in front of us. First of all, the rollout planning is very important to see how to do this, the strategy, of how to deploy all these meters in those areas with which team and which personnel and so on. And the organization, you have in Europe we lack of technicians, so this is really a challenge that we need the manpower. You have a lot of skilled personnel that you actually can onboard, but you need to train them, or you need to give them the right tool with the intuitive interfaces to minimize the administration impact of getting them ongoing. There should be a support. We have been talking about the site surveys or the consumer indexing. This is very important that you have all the data you need before you're going on the field and doing the job. So all these processes and workflows are really important. Of course, the meter exchange should be there. Cleanup. What if you move through the areas and do the installation? There are lots of leftovers behind. How do you cope with them? How much do they cost if you leave them behind and have to do it again, the site visits? Inspection, the control and quality in the field. How do you do that? You need tools and support for that. Meter reading. As I understand, the projects are in a total responsibility. So if you have 2 million meters, you need to even read them before you exchange them. So you need a meter reading process for that. A project of 2 million meters is 4 million meters to handle, 2 million out and 2 million in, and you should get in control and audit them on the way because they are valuable assets as well. So you need probably the logistics part. Consumer service, I don't know. I hear different things about how much you will involve the consumers, but there are consumers maybe that has meters inside, and you need to visit them and you need to have an appointment. This is something that should be considered also. Follow-up and statistics, to be able to have these figures later on, not doing it manually but digitally, you get lots of the statistics and KPIs to work further on beyond the meter exchange. Quality inspection, I mentioned a bit, warehouse and IT system and integration, that is a really important part because there's not only one player in this, it's a lot of players. You should do what you're best in. The MDM system should be connected after meter exchange, for instance. While doing the meter exchange in the field, we need to connect, sorry, lost my mind. You need to do the connections for a meter. You might turn them on, and this is not our core business. This is something that we want to collaborate about, to have the API for doing that with a meter vendor, for instance, or if we should measure or do something in the field. So the challenge is cost effectiveness, to have everything controlled and ongoing and planned. So this is a crucial thing in the bottom end. Lack of data and quality. We can see in Europe there were a lot of meters that don't have all information to be able to do the job, and this is something that you need to handle. And one way of handling it, of course, is do the consumer indexing or site survey, which is very important. And you should also have the robust things, processes to keep up with this data, even though it's not complete. And then also the difficulty in collaborating and controlling in this huge organization that are differentiated around the areas and geography. High administrative load, that is when you're doing this, if you don't have the processes and everything in line, then you will have an administrative load later on to take care of. So this is very important in many aspects. Recruiting technicians, that's depend on where you are. You have the benefit of having a lot of skilled technicians to onboard. And then, of course, unexpected situations. We have been starting one of the million rollouts just before the pandemic. And during the pandemic, we had to rechange, replan everything. And if you're doing that manually, it's a really hard task and maybe impossible. Now we could do that just by having other parameters, and then we just change the whole project, for instance, to only handle available meters. In Europe, there are lots of indoor meters as well. So the experience here, to be able to achieve these large volumes, you need automated processes where they can be. So data-driven automated processes is a key for this. Common workflows. Start off with the easy things. Start with them, but don't forget the more complex and advanced ones, because in the end there will be an administrative load you cannot bear if you have too much of the advanced ones left behind. Poor data need to be updated so you have everything in hand. So when you're on the actual exchange on the site, you should have everything in front of you. You can either do it by a site survey earlier, or you can do it actually in the reporting or the actually field reporting when you're doing the job. They're a little bit different where our customers doing it before or during the visit. Factoring flexibility in planning. You should be able to do swift replanning. There are things that happens all the way, so you need to be able to cope with them on a daily basis. So this is really crucial that you have these possibilities. And also the collaboration and leverage team experience. Mr. Paresh Patel had a calculation, 230,000 of those exchanges per day. And imagine then if a technician should exchange 15 meters per day, then it would require 16,000 technicians to do it. If they change 10 meters a day, that's 5 a difference, then there are 23,000, or maybe more, that the time of the project will be very, very different depending on the efficiency of number of meters you can install. And this number can definitely be affected by which kind of support you have in the planning and the tools. Ending this session just by showing you how we have been working with these challenges and successful project we have had in Europe, and hopefully we are exploring now added value we can bring to India as well. What we are working with is from the whole chain of creating work orders, of having assets. We are pre-planning the areas to see where we should do the work and in what way. We have the customer interaction process of how to involve them to get efficient work on site. Rebooking is one issue. If the site is not able to visit, then we have to need to know when we can do it. The actual feed work, exchange reporting is also in there. For instance, for consumer indexing, hopefully we can have more of a chat, because this is very, very quick. And I can show you a bit of how we are actually implementing the consumer indexing. By instance, signal strength measuring, the network chain can be directly seen, looked at, and corrected if needed, and so on. So there should be all information in there. And also the follow-up and KPIs is very important. And this is together with all the processes and workflows that should be involved in the actual rollout. All right. For you that are interested in the PowerPoint, that you can just download on the left QR, and we have some tips on the other side on the seven insights. So we have 1 minute left, so maybe there are some questions. All right. Then I will thank you for this opportunity, and you will all run for lunch soon, I think. So have a good lunch, and hopefully we can have more of a discussion of this. We need partners and we need friends here.